What's up guys, welcome back to the Petite Mama YouTube channel. I hope you're all having a lovely day. Thank you for stopping by. My name is Eunice. I'm a mom and I'm a wifey. So on today's video guys, I'm going to give you detail by details on how to kind of contribute and come up with a low budget wedding, because I know so many people would love to have weddings, but the idea of coming up with a budget sometimes is so tiresome and cumbersome, because we all know there is no money. To be honest, there is no money. Economy ni mbaya. But you really want to have a wedding and you're trying to figure out how to raise funds. So let me give you my tips. My wedding was last year, August date 10. I did it on a Friday. I'm going to tell you why I did it on a Friday, and I'm going to share with you all the small details that you need. Because, and let's remember guys, weddings are not for everyone. You may watch this video and you'll be like, wedding is not my thing. It's okay, it's fine, but weddings are beautiful and there's something good. I mean, the best I can say is that weddings are just beautiful. You get to see your friends, those who really matter, those who support you so much. And also another NB to take note is that weddings can go up to 2 million bob, 1.5, 1 million, 800,000, 200,000, even 100,000 budgeted wedding. You can actually do it. So I'm going to share with you some of my tips, and remember, if you're new here, remember to subscribe, the red button down there. It's totally free. And remember guys, while I was planning all this, I was already pregnant. The reason as to why I did my wedding when I was pregnant is that nilikuwa tu nataka kumalizana na hiyo story yote, because I knew when the baby came I just couldn't have the energy, because the baby needed my attention, and then itabidi nikuwe on the ground doing 1 2 3 1 2 3. So I was like, you know what, the baby is in my tummy, let me just go ahead and do what I need to do. So I was actually 8 months pregnant. So but I kind of managed. So I used just to find any free time that I had, and then chuck off from job and then just go and do 1 2 3. So remember to take notes. If you're about to have a wedding, well and good, congratulations. Maybe you're going to gather 1 or 2 3 things. If you're not planning on to have a wedding anytime soon, welcome to the vlog. But remember guys, it's never that serious. So whether you want one or you don't want one, you're good to go. You know, you're good to go. But I would encourage someone, if you really want to have a wedding, go. Okay, too much talking now. Let me get direct to the point. My wedding costed me around less than 600,000 guys, and I feel like it was on the low budget. With this economy that we are right now, that was totally on a low budget, because nowadays we know that most service providers have become so expensive, and everything is becoming so expensive. So point number one guys, if you're planning to have a wedding, is that I will insist, if you're not planning to have an invite only, you'll rather not print any cards, because cards are becoming also expensive. Because to get a good card, you will find that someone will tell you one card will cost you 100 bob, one card may cost you 150 or even 200. And at the end of the day guys, remember, this is my idea, this is how I did my wedding, and depending on how much money you have, you may have cards that even go for 500 each. So I feel like if your wedding is not invites only, you don't need to go for so many cards. Just have a few cards which you feel you need to give a few guests on the side of your mom and or the side of your husband, you know, because I realized that printing so many cards is a waste of resources. Because at the end of the day, if it's not invites only, people are going to pass on the information and people are just going to find a way to come to your wedding. But unless it's strictly invites only, then perhaps everyone needs to have a card, so that when they come to the gate or the entrance point, they have something to show. So that is point number one. Point number two, I hope I'm going to remember them, but I have a notebook with me. Point number two is always take your time to find the best reception area, because most reception areas nowadays are so beautiful, and you find that you can have your photo session at the reception area. So that's what I did. My reception was at Safari Park Hotel. I mean, not Safari Park, sorry, it was at Sportsview Hotel in Kasarani. And the thing that I loved about the area is that they give you a wide so many options. Like you can use, they have this garden area whereby you can use it as a photo session, and you can also use it to put tents, or you can also use their hall. But if you're opting to use their hall, you have to buy their food. But remember guys, they're giving you the hall for free where you can have your reception, but you have to buy food from their hotel. So reception area is very, very important. If you can get a reception area that is offering you a good, beautiful scenery where you can do your photo session, well and good, because it's going to save you time. You won't have to keep your guests waiting while you're going for the photo session. It will be more of like from here to here, you know. So that is point number 2. Point number 3 is that most church areas nowadays, you find that most churches are big enough. Like why did my church service was at St. Francis Catholic Church, and find that some churches have this very, very big field. So if you just try and inquire, you find that the church area can also offer you their field, or just a ground within, whereby you can put up your tents and have your reception at the same place. So it's going to cut down on cost to go and hire another ground somewhere, so that you can actually have a reception area. So think about your church, what your church is offering, listen to them. You can find a way to play around with the ground area of the church and come up with something so, so beautiful. Another point guys, it's food. Food is very essential guys when it comes to any African wedding. We all know that people always talk about, oh, the food was 1 2 3, I did not have enough food. So you want to make sure that on your wedding day, food is there and food is enough. Or if you don't have enough food, you just want to make sure that drinks are enough, so that if someone comes late and they're not able to have food, probably they can have a drink, a soda or water, and at least they'll be able to have a cake. So for me, what I found to be easy on me, but I found that that was kind of on the higher side, because my reception was in the hotel. But you find that the hotel gave me the option to have their hall for free, and the hall came with tables and chairs. Wow, that saved me lots and lots of money. So the hall came with tents and the hall came with chairs and tables, but they told me if we give you the hall for free, you have to buy our food. So listen to this. When it comes to food, this is where the trick comes in, especially if you're buying food in the hotel. If you are having a big number of guests, don't go for per platter, like don't go for per head count. You can sit down and decide with the chef of the day that you'd rather have like 60 kgs of rice or 100 kgs of meat. So you calculate your quantity in terms of kgs instead of per head, because if you're doing per head, they're going to maybe give you a budget of 600 bob or 700 bob per head, which will be very, very expensive. So go for the option whereby you're doing it in terms of random kgs, because you assume if I have this number of guests, probably 100 kgs of meat is going to be enough. So that is another key tip guys to take note of. Another point is cake. I'm going to share with you guys my cake, a picture. I'm going to put it here, a picture. And guys, my theme cake was a basketball theme, because my husband and I are sports people and we kind of love basketball. So I told my cake guy, my cake woman, who did a very, very nice job. Thank you so much, Esther. I just loved it, because I remember when I was going for cake tasting, I was so tired, I was pregnant, and then I was telling her, do I have to come? Can you just give me something good? And she insisted, you know what, just come, look at the options that I have, look at the flavors, and then we're going to pick what you want together. So I had to go all the way to Umoja. She's at Umoja, and I'm going to also show you her page. Check out Wandy's cakes. She does very, very beautiful cakes. So for cakes guys, make sure you take your time to go to the person who is doing the cakes, and if possible guys, make sure you can even ask the lady who is doing for you the cake to so that she can tag you along to one of the weddings that she's going to take the cake, because I've heard of cases whereby you order a cake, you go for cake tasting, but trust you me, on the wedding day, what is presented on the table is totally different from what you saw on the pictures. So you have to be very careful. Nowadays people are trying to find all means to get money, and it's becoming hectic, and it's going to ruin your mood, it's going to ruin your day on that beautiful day. So for cakes, my cake was around 13 kgs, and I feel like everyone had a good share, and I mean a good share. I was even able to come with a ball, the basketball beat part of the cake at home. So my cake was big enough, and it only costed me 24,000. I feel like that was so fair, because I was calling so many people who are doing cakes, and they were giving me options of 60,000, 50,000, you know. So that was on the lower budget. So 24,000 for such a beautiful cake, I feel like for me it was on the lower side. Another thing, guys, is rings. I think one business that is really getting maximum profits in Kenya are the rings selling stores. Because let me show you my ring. So this is my ring. You can see this ring, to be honest, is pure gold, and it's already engraved with my husband's name and the date of our wedding. So why am I showing you this? I'm showing you this because for rings, I knew that this will cost a lot of money for us. But then let me give you a tip of where you can get very affordable rings at no extra cost. There's a place in Isili. It's called, I also got this from a friend. It's called Behind Bangkok House. Just go to Isili and try and figure out where Bangkok House is. So behind Bangkok House, there's this big open market whereby we have these Arabian women, if I can call them, and they're sitting down, and it's like a market of gold. Literally, it's like a market of gold. So they have placed all kind of gold there, from bangles to neck pieces to earrings, everything. And then the men are on the other side, they're selling silver. So if you want now a wedding ring, you go there, and then they give you a whole bunch of rings that they have put together, you know. So you have to go testing like which one fits my ring, and then they wait for you. So they will put the ring on their weighing, on the weighing scale, and then depending on the grams that you've picked, they are going to multiply by the amount, the cost of gold per kg, per gram, sorry. So you have an option. The reason as to why that market is good is because you have an option of bargaining, and depending on the inflation, can I say inflation, or depending on the how much dollar is costing at that time, you're definitely going to have something that is not costly, or you're going to have something that is costly. And then the good thing, the same place, you can actually just move to the next shop, and you'll find somewhere whereby you can be engraved, and someone is going to put for you all the necessary details that you want. Also, another good thing about the market, later on, like for us, we didn't have much money at that time. So I think both our rings costed us around 15,000, if I'm not wrong. Yeah, both our rings costed us around 15,000, and it's because we told that mama, you know what, we want rings that can get to this amount of price. We don't want something so extravagant. We don't want something that is going to make us spend a lot. Can you imagine rings only costing us 15,000, and they're legit? So the good thing is that you can also go back when you have money in future. You can also go back, and you can buy more gold, and then they're going to, what is it called, kuchanganya, kuimelt, yeah, and then they're going to even custom made it for you the way you want it to be. That is one tip that I found. I think I learned that was a tip that I really used, and it was the best tip that I can say about my wedding. My rings, I swear, I do not regret. They saved me lots and lots of money. Another tip, guys, is the band. Most people find that bands are not necessary during your weddings, which is okay. Bands sometimes are not necessary, because you find that people can use the crowd to just sing and stuff like that. But for me, I opted for a band because I knew that most of my guests were coming from far, because my husband is low. So you find that Most of the women had to travel all the way from Nyanza. Then my mom is Taita. Most of her guests had to travel all the way from coast and come to Nairobi. My dad is Kikuyu. Okay, Kikuyu Central is just close by. But you already see that these are people who are already traveling, and they will come to the wedding already tired, and they just want to relax and have fun and enjoy. So I didn't want to force the mamas who had come, you know, to wake up and sing and feel like they have to entertain other people. It will be unfair for them. So I opted for a band, and this band, I'll leave the link below. The leader is called Vince. Vince did a very fantastic job on my wedding day. On the reception, the guests were eating, they were well entertained, you know, they were relaxed, and I also didn't take so much time, so I was able to come back and join my guests very early enough. And that is another point also, guys, that I'm going to talk about. So make sure that you're looking for a band that is reliable, a band that is cheap. You don't want a band that will cost you so much. You can even negotiate. You can say, you know what, how about instead of coming 20 of you, come 10 of you. You know, I'm having this number of guests, I don't need so many of you. So you have to sit down, listen at the offers that they're giving you, and then opt for the best that is in the market. Because I feel nowadays bands are so many, so many, and you can definitely get someone who will give you something good on your wedding day. Okay, so what I'm talking about, okay, not spending so much, this is another tip. Don't spend so much time on your photo shoot, because this gets the guest bored and it gets them tired, because they be asking like, oh, why are you guys taking so long, and why are you not here on time, you know, such things. So it's going to make them feel like, I've already eaten, so I think I should go. So take the shortest time possible, because I've seen in so many weddings, the groom's bridal party tends to take a lot of time, so guests have already finished eating and people are sitting there wondering like, oh, what are we doing here, because we're here for the bride and groom but they're not here, and I'm tired, my kids are here disturbing me, nishakula, nishashiba, wacha niende. And you find that this person will leave probably with their gift, or if they do not come with a gift, they're going to leave with their bahasha, you know, the amount of something that they wanted to leave to you. So guys, remember, take the shortest time possible. Yeah, like you can take a short time so that hata ukirudi guest bado unajua wamechangamka, ndo chakula ina digest, but don't take so much time. Watu washakula, washashiba, isha digest, washakunywa soda, you know, they just want to leave. So they're going to leave with so many gifts that they should have given you, and that will be a negative on your side. You're not going to blame them, you know. Utaenda kwa nyumba mtu mwambie mbona ukuka kwa nsi yangu mpaka iishe, you know. So take the shortest time. Lastly, or my other tip is means of contribution. I feel like this is another big challenge, but I always tell people, if you believe and trust that you have good friends and family, friends, then try and come up with different methods of trying to raise money for wedding, and leave this nonsense of people telling you mbona unafanya harusi, sio pesa ungenunua shamba. And I'm like, even wewe saizi ukiulizwa bring 500,000 ununue shamba, hautakuwa nayo, si ndio? But because in Africa we believe that wedding is a community thing, people will be eager and easy to come up and support you, you know. But you can't go and tell someone nichangieni ya kununua shamba. Mtu atasema he, hata mimi sijanunua shamba, mbona nikuchangie kununua shamba, you know. So weddings, definitely, as long as you have good friends and good family, or you just have a good support system, you're definitely going to get that support. And as my mom always say, bora ume set a date for a wedding, trust me, that wedding is going to take place. Hata ukisema sahi niko na harusi December 25th, it's going to happen, you know. Somehow it just happens. It's the same way people say pesa ya pombe haikosekani. So the same way ukiset date ya harusi, it's going to happen. So what we did with my hubby is that he created a WhatsApp group, and I also created a WhatsApp group, and we just gathered our friends, trusted friends and families, because nowadays people are so offended when you just add them to a WhatsApp group, and they don't know why we are here. Why are we here? Mimi niko na shida zangu, mbona unaniweka kwa group nianze kuchanga. So make sure you consult, make sure you text your friends before you add them to the group, and just explain to them you just want them to witness this beautiful day. You just want their support in each and every way, it's going to be very, very helpful. So you see, we had two different kind of WhatsApp groups. So he had his own kind of contribution, I also had my kind of contribution, and then we also had of the WhatsApp group on contribution that may be family, close family. So you can have a WhatsApp group for friends, another WhatsApp group for your hubby side friend, and then you can have another one for very, very close family, friends, or even just family. And that way you're able to collect funds easily. And it's good that when you collect funds, another tip, when you're collecting funds, remember, you're not sure how if you're going to get the required amount. So it's important to get the necessary things. Like nowadays, it's important when you first start to get the contribution from the WhatsApp, you can start by getting the rings, you can start by getting the certificate, because those are the most important things. So that even if you're not able to raise funds, maybe to have a big reception, you're able to have a wedding at the end of the day and get blessings from the church. Yeah, na mtakuwa mmefungwa, mtakuwa mmefanya harusi at the end of the day, because that is what matters, the church blessings, because that is why people do church weddings anyway. So when you're starting to get the money, don't think of big things, or like, oh, we've gotten this amount, let's go and check out the tent. No, just start with the simple basic things. Lastly, guys, oh my god, this video is going to be so big, so long. So lastly, guys, is that so lastly is that, if you have an option to get a hall, tent nowadays are so. Oh, the most important thing that I've not mentioned, guys, is a gown. This goes to the brides. I'm going to show you my gown. I'm going to show you a picture. Let me put it over here. So gowns, guys, my gown, you can see the way it is. My gown only costed me, if I'm not wrong, it only costed me around 18,000. And the gown, what I also got this contact from a friend of mine called Aileen. So she called me and she told me there's a shop at Moy Avenue, go and check it out. They're selling some gowns. I saw them on Facebook, and they had this crazy sale for gowns. So when what they were doing is that they had good gowns, but they were giving them like second hand. They used to give them for hire, kitambo. But when I went there, they were like, nowadays we don't give for hire anymore, we are giving you go and buy. So you could see that it's a used gown, but it was in good condition. And the good thing is that I loved them because most of them were imported. They were not local materials, so they were imported gowns. So they were in good material. The lace was very unique. You could see that this is something unique. So I went there and I picked a gown. And remember, there's a gown for people who are pregnant. I think the waistline starts somewhere higher. So I went there and picked the specific gown. It was only one piece left, and it was on demand, because sometimes we have a good number of people who are doing weddings and they're pregnant. So I went there and got the gown, and I paid, and it was the Cinderella kind of gown. And previously I wanted a gown that would fit me just nicely, but now because of the pregnancy I just had to go with that gown. But it was beautiful, I loved it. So I still have the gown in case you want a gown and you're pregnant, or if you feel it's going to fit you, because it was a size 8 gown. Yeah, so just give me a call. So that gown cut cost for me on so many ways, because nowadays gowns are going for even 20,000, 30, even 50, even 40. So to get one at 18,000, and it was something unique, something good, it was worth it, and it's mine, and I'm going to keep it forever, So that's it when it comes to the gown. And for the suits, guys, remember to get a fundi who will do for you a good job, but at a lower cost. Nowadays mafundi ni wengi, so take your time. Zunguka, hii Nairobi ni kubwa. Go take your time, look at this tailor, what has he done, where have you done it, let me see your pictures, nini. And you'll be surprised that you can really have a budget wedding on a very low cost, because you don't want to call someone and tell them that, you know what, kujusimamia harusi yangu and suit yako it will cost 20,000, 15,000, because pia nowadays kusimamia harusi si mchezo, especially if it's someone's wedding who has set the bar here. You have to budget, and it's going to cost you a lot. So that's it. Another tip, guys, I've just remembered, another final tip, guys, is make sure that your bridal party is a small size. That is if you don't want to spend much on the cost of cars, because for example, I picked a small bridal party whereby I only had 4 girls and 4 gentlemen and 3 kids, because automatically that meant that I wouldn't have to have so many cars just to carry the bridal party, because with 4 ladies, 4 maids, I knew that that is 1 car, and then they could just carry the 2 girls, the 2 babies, so it's going to cut costs in so many ways, and it's going to cut costs also on the high table food, because mostly the high table is budget is different from the rest. So utambiwa deco a high table in a cost here, and because we have to put like 16 chairs, we have to put like 20 chairs for the bridal party, which is so big. So if you can cut down on the number of the bridal party that you're going to have, well and good. That is if you want to have a low budget wedding. Remember guys, low budget wedding, low budget. But kama mnaweza hizo kubwa kubwa, well and good, it will be perfect, it will be beautiful, and you'll get all the blessings that you want. So that's another important, guys, tip. Remember to put that in. And I think I've mentioned everything. My wedding only costed me around 560k, and I felt that that was on the lower side with this current times that we are in. And the thing that actually made me spend a lot of money, and I feel like I could have prevented that, is that the food at the hotel became a little bit expensive, because that is the portion that actually took the biggest amount of the budget, because I think the total was around 200k, and that is because I think having food from the hotel is definitely expensive, because they have to hike the prices. But I had another option, which was to have the reception at my church place, and it would have costed me less, because I was planning to hire someone who would come and cook for us, because I was opting to buy food materials, food, everything, and then just get people who will come and do the cooking and serve the guests, and that would have costed me around 100 G's. But this one now, you see, had to go an extra 100 G's. So those are my tips for a low budget wedding. I hope you've liked this video. Remember to subscribe and leave a comment, give it a thumbs up, and I'm going to see you on my next video if you're planning to have a wedding. All the best, and bye. And then I remember, guys, me sikuwa na committee. I won't like I didn't have a committee. I was like, you know what watanichanganya, people will give me all these ideas. So what I used to do is that I just used to make phone calls. I was like, hey, do you do cakes? How much? Where are you? Can I come? Okay, yes, I'm going to come. So, and then what I did is that I allocated my friends, my very, very close friends, and some of my good cousins, just some work on the ground. And you just want to make sure that you have people you trust on the ground. And I wanted young people to be around me. So my very, very good age mates, just a few of them, I gave them the responsibilities. Like, I was like, you know what, you, a friend I know from this day, I trust you, just make sure that you follow up with the cake lady. You're a friend I know, I trust you, just make sure you follow up with the band, make sure that you call them in the morning, make sure you confirm that they're going to come. You're a good cousin I know, you know what, just make sure that all the envelopes and gifts are on the right place. And you are my brother I know, you know what, just make sure all the gifts have reached to my place. So you can definitely make that an arrangement with people you trust and people you know are responsible, and give them those duties on your wedding day, because you don't want to be worried with what is happening on the ground. And someone like me who was like 8 months pregnant, I did not have time to stress. So nearly flow to Nasikos. I think I didn't even notice some things going on, but I remember I was so tired. I did not have time to go for a honeymoon, but I have had a beautiful, beautiful wedding. Another key point is to take note of photography. Photography nowadays is so expensive, and the packages for weddings are becoming extravagant, and you're looking at a photography package and they're like 150,000. And I remember my photography only costed me 40,000k, and it's because also, as I'm saying, I didn't want to spend so much. So we had a sitting, and I told them, you know what, you don't have to give me so much. just do your video and take some nice pictures. And you know, if I'm to print, I will print. Just give me the printing that you're going to give me and give me a copy of the video. So that's it. And I cut cost. Definitely I had to cut cost there. So 40K was on the low budget. I feel it was on the low budget. Right now, photography, you know, if you've done these photography packages, you can know, you know, they give you crazy amounts for the photography.